Okay, so now our next speaker is Anjum Javed, director from WNS. And he's thoroughbred IT professional and digital transformation specialist with a 2-decade track record of successfully leading and managing large-scale technology-led transformation programs in the IT and ITES industry. Extensive experience with cloud AI platforms, IP-based and market-leading intelligent hyper-automation platforms for successful implementation of complex, path-breaking AI-led digital solutions that are changing the CFO, CPO, CMO, CEO, CHRO, and CLO office paradigms. And he'll discuss how cognitive AI, machine learning, and robotic process automation are disrupting business processes. Over to you, Mr. Javed.
Hi, hello everybody. Let me just try quickly sharing my screen and do a quick check if I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. Akriti, if you can let me know if I'm audible well and if my screen is also visible.
You're audible, and yes, your screen is also visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks a lot, and very warm welcome to you all for this session. I'm your host for this session today. My name is Anjum Javed. I'm a director within the Business Transformation Group in WNS and leading the hyper-automation agenda and AI advisory. And I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you about some game-changing trends for artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and how the greater infusion of AI, ML, DL, as we call them, into the robotic process automation is creating more opportunities for growth. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get started with the session, and I'll be taking any questions towards the end. Okay, so I think we have seen and heard enough of what this space is, the robotic process automation, and how the entire space is getting disrupted, right, with RPA, and now with more and more inclusion of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and cognitive technologies. So here's what we'll cover in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll be talking about RPA, in its current shape and form, and what are its limitations, and what has been like an evolution of robotics, right? And how AI is the key enabler for next wave of robotic process automation, talking about intelligent automation, hyper automation, and some case studies for how the business processes are getting transformed with RPA along with AI and ML. So why is the need for automation? Right? So we have come a long way, I think, in this. While we know that there are a lot of manual processes which are error prone, there's a lot of manual work which goes on in any finance department of an organization, let's say, procure to pay, order to cash, record to report, turnaround times, the voluminous work, the document intensive work, huge amount of effort is being spent in just staring, comparing, validating, in data entry into the systems, preparation of the reports, right? So I think all these mundane and repetitive tasks can be automated, and that is what the human thought, that let me do what I can best do, and let machines take what they can do the best, right? So repetition of mundane, repetitive, rule-based tasks is what RPA was supposed to take, and then the judgment-based task was definitely the stronghold of human beings. Then there is some Gartner statistics I would like to mention. Even in the Gartner's top 10 technology trends, machine learning, AI, and intelligent apps are, leapfrogging into that quadrant, and um, they are getting increased attention by the companies, by the enterprises, by the governments, by the businesses, and by the societies. So this is what the analysts have to say. Now, when we talk about RPA joining hands with AI, that is where the magic is, right? That is where we say that we are trying to multiply the benefits of automation manifold, and we want to do something really, good in terms of one is definitely the business process, how it can be automated, even the cognitive tasks, which up until now was the stronghold of human being, the judgment based tasks. We want the machine to be able to see, understand, comprehend, act on those objects. So namely, the data in its various form factors, is it text, image, video, audio. The intention is now for the machine to be able to understand all these form factors in a way, contextually, semantically, the way a human would do, and then help in decision support systems, right? So we got an AI as a sort of a companion. We said that we want to augment our capabilities. Hey, artificial intelligence, can you help me, Ramesh, through reams and reams of data coming through various data sources, which can be in text, image, video, audio, and can help me draw insights, and can help me predict things better, and can help me prescribe things better. Because up until now, with RPA, with business intelligence, I'm able to do so much. With RPA, I'm able to automate rule-based tasks to an extent. I'm able to draw some intelligence on top of it, right? Some diagnostic ability. So if I have to divide it into four phases or four parts, right? So there is descriptive analytics, there is diagnostic analytics, there is predictive analytics, there is prescriptive analytics, right? So when we talk about descriptive diagnostic, that is where your descriptive is more MIS reports, and diagnostic is where you can see the mean, median, mode of the data, the tableaus, the Power BIs of the world, where you can do some business intelligence on your data, see the data patterns. And see the quartile distributions of your data, draw some whisker plots, or those kind of things. Moving beyond, we wanted to predict. We wanted to know, can I, as business, get better in terms of my decision-making abilities, can do more predictive analytics, understand. If we talk about, let's say, a procure-to-pay business where I'm trying to detect some anomalies in accounts payable process, trying to see how I can better manage my days payment outstanding, and increase and better my cash flow. Instead of having to make the payments for those duplicate invoices or fraudulent invoices and then go after the recovery, which is costly itself. So that is more a reactive world. Now we want to be more proactive and preemptive in our approach, right? And we want to have now better risk management capabilities. We want the risk and compliance department, the chief risk officer, to know that we are having these systems, and which can help better our risk posture. So that accounts payable was just a case in point, while anomaly can be anywhere, right? Risk can be anywhere. There can be a credit card fraud, card not present credit card fraud happening anywhere in the world. If the machine can detect with the level of certainty that these are the 30 cases which look very vulnerable for a card not present credit card kind of a fraud in the next 30 days, then I can do something about it. When you talk about predictive maintenance in a manufacturing setup, right, where let's say if even before a part is going to wear and tear. Now, this is where AI meets IoT. The sensor data, which AI is gathering through big data, and trying to sense if a machine part is going to wear and tear, and if there is a early maintenance required. So this is all proactive. Right? I'm being alarmed about those cases which up until now was a very reactive way of attending to things. Then we talk about personalization, even beyond hyper personalization, micro moments, right? Now we're moving to a world order wherein we go to Netflix or Amazon, we get recommendations, right? Now, what is hyper personalization? Micro moments. When I'm most vulnerable to make that decision to buy something, right, to purchase something as a customer, and and the seller knows that this is a point in time when I'm most vulnerable to make that purchase and make that offer to me. Not only basis my demographic factors, but basis what I do and what time of the year I'm most vulnerable or susceptible for that kind of a purchase, making that kind of a purchase, and basis various behavioral factors, right? Not only that, this customer, when he bought a chair, he also bought a stool, right? No, that is not AI based recommendation, but more AI is where it has some rhyme and reason, and it can recommend, right, which has a very high chance of conversion there, so to speak. So these are the broad areas where AI coupled with RPA. And RPA, as we know, is more at the front end automation, UI based automation, screen scraping, going to the SAP CRM systems. If building an API poses a restriction, RPA has proven to be great. Even if there are APIs, then there is a RPA based framework on which AI based automation can be set up to have that kind of amalgamation to address the IT challenges, wherein it is not always the case that you're allowed to build APIs or the APIs are ready, so you resort to RPA. But then if there is an API available, and you can have a mix of both, those kind of functionalities are also there. Now, technology is evolving at a very fast pace, and we have some lessons learned already, right? So I think somebody mentioned in a discussion before that we have to look beyond task automation. We have to look at process automation. How we can automate this thing end to end, a process spanning multiple departments, and take a process-centric view, right? Not just a task automation or a point automation here and there. No, that is not the intention, right? Look beyond task automation. Now, what are the basically challenges in terms of getting curated data sets, right? So when we are saying that RPA meeting AI, now AI is trained on data sets, right? How you can get access to large amounts of relevant data to build reliable models which are generalizable for that context, right? So I think data quality matters. Sometimes data is not available or data is less. And so how you can augment the data sets, transform the data sets to be able to train with less amount of data, and yet the model is generalizable and efficient, is where the researchers are headed, right? And of course, many tools and approaches are coming in the market. And many stakeholders fail to understand the nuanced differences, right? So let's say if there is an OCR. Now, OCR market itself is big, right? But OCR, it's intelligent OCR, itself within the tools, there is a capability to be able to perform better on certain types of documents, let's say invoices or contracts or various different types of documents. So we need to understand that even if we are leveraging an intelligent OCR tool, how about using them if you're trying to build a scalable system? How about using those capabilities where where we can leverage the best of all the worlds, and and then use a mix of OCR kind of a fusion, right? And also seek, what we can build with open source technologies in that regard. Yes, it has to be a bottom up approach in terms of, and let the operations team understand that there is a need for AI. It also has to be top down, right? It has to definitely trickle down from the top, and it has to have a senior stakeholder alignment and support on the initiatives. Now, we know this, right? What are the benefits? So I'm not going to delve deeper into some of these slides that I have. We talk about a little bit about evolution, right? From where it all started. And I should have mentioned this before, but I'll just take a minute to cover this and then move beyond. So it has started right from the macros, right, which is not portable to more systems wherein which can scale, right? RPA. Now we talk about RPA in the cloud as well, to be able to scale RPA and get the benefits. And then these are the systems that we understand that it can sit intrusively atop your existing infrastructure. We also talk about low code, no code platforms, wherein you can build your workflows, RPA designer, and all the front office parts, back office parts. You can design, you can insert. There are drag and drop features available. You can insert the ML flows, data flows, event flows, and create your own orchestration layer, or an end-to-end orchestration for a process. And then moving beyond RPA, we talk about ML, algorithms, neural networks for predictive and prescriptive analytics. Again, referring back to where it is headed is predictive and prescriptive analytics, and that is where AI/ML comes into play. RPA will certainly fuel innovation. Are some common terms that you will hear is RPA COE elevation, RPA as a service. A lot of players are offering these days. Small and medium enterprises to adopt RPA at a faster rate now. In fact, post-pandemic, what we have seen to stay competitive, right? Use of API integration along with RPA-based framework. I just spoke about that. RPA integration, integrating RPA with process mining, right? So having process mining features, ability to identify, where are the deviations in the process. A process may be getting executed in India and Indonesia, two similar processes but very different ways, and maybe there is a reason behind it, but it helps you identify what are the gaps in the process, what is the wait time in the processes, where are the redundancies in the processes. All of them may not necessarily translate into automation, right? It can also lead to process reengineering or process standardization, but at least you have a digital twin of the process that you would want to analyze, and then identify the best pick, the right pick candidate for automation, right? Couple that with the natural language processing capabilities, with computer vision capabilities, and machine learning capabilities. Then you say that you have endowed your system with more intelligence. That is the view of the intelligent automation, intelligent RP. Then we talk about semantic automation, right? So then we are also envisioning a world where we say that just go and just automate this part, right? It should understand what I want to automate, right? Right now there are predefined flows, but the automations of tomorrow will tend to be more semantic, right? What is it that you want to automate? This is what I want to automate. Understanding the semantics of what I said, go and automate this, and then that task is automated, right? Yes, and RPA is it's all over the place, and not a single industry sector is left untouched. Whether we talk about HR in recruitments, resume collection, classification, understanding of the right candidate, banking and financial services, account opening, KYC, AML processes, RPA in accounting, account reconciliation, financial closing, RPA in retail, return processing, inventory management, healthcare, and you're talking about simplifying services for patients, prescription management, payment cycles, revenue cycle management. There are a host of use cases. We'll also see a few more as we go. So what is it that the traditional RPA cannot do today? Right? And I think we briefly touched upon this, that it cannot pass professional judgment. Right? It cannot read handwritten documents properly. It only needs structured data, in the Excel, right? Even in the Excel, you can have unstructured data in the cells, by the way, but it needs structured data sets, right? Cannot adapt to changes, right? If the underlying changes in the UI, right, it is not adaptable to that. It cannot take voice instructions properly. So today, if you're saying that I want a voice-enabled thing, you're talking about then speech to text and then understanding of that text in a semantic way to give a trigger to an RPA, right? It cannot generate insights. It cannot interpret free-form text. That's why we feel the need for AI-based systems. AI is everywhere. It's like electricity. Is the new electricity, and electricity transformed industries. So AI has the potential to, in fact, transform every industry and be a key enabler for industry, for building Industry 5.0. So what are some of the use cases that we have seen with machine learning and predictive analytics? These are some of the use cases, and we'll discuss a few more in additional slides. Churn analysis, it can be telecom churn prediction. Again, wherever you need classification or regression kind of there is a scenario, it's apt for machine learning, deep learning kind of use cases. Social network analysis, social media monitoring, content moderation, recommendation engines, AI-based recommendation engines. It's everywhere. Whether you go to your Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, location-based tracking services, vision analytics, weather forecasting, legal discovery and document archiving. This is a big case for legal, wherein it can be a big help to the legal officer, to the paralegals, who can go through the document and prepare for a case, looking at all previous cases, and document summarization, text summarization, abstractive, extractive summarization has a very big role to play. Case law, retrieval, entailment, those kind of use cases, and also in terms of contract intelligence, right? The contract negotiation cycles, those tend to get very longer. That is where AI can help you understand that these are the clauses which are compliant or partially compliant, and then flag it to a paralegal, and then whether it is an NDA or an MSA, it can be a lot of help, because then the analyst is not going through all the pages, but is getting the partially compliant or the deviant clauses, or even if there is a clause which is not present, highlighted then and there. So that way it is able to help the paralegal to augment its capabilities, and also help with not only in the contract negotiation phase, but also post-contract signing, right, in both the phases. So it can be a help to CFO, as we have seen, whether we talk about accounts payable, cash apps collections, record to report. There is a big role that AI has to play to be, an advisor, right, to the CFO of any company. Then we talked about chief legal officer, chief risk officer, chief marketing officer. How you can get better with your campaigns, right? Let's say if you understand the customer, you can target the customer, you can segment the customer, you can do the clustering of your customers, you can get better with digital marketing capabilities, which customer segments to reach out when, so that they have a propensity to buy your product. Targeted marketing campaigns, all that AI is enabling. right? So it has a big role to play to boost the efficiencies of the chief marketing officer office. And then, of course, fraud detection, personalized insurance. Insurance is waiting for an overhaul as an industry. It is waiting for an overhaul for a long, long time. We want a retail-like experience in insurance now. So how can there be more personalized insurance services? Personalization, I touched upon this. AI has a big role to play in offering hyper-personalized services. Of course, then there are many use cases across the segment, right? Some of the social use cases, also, let's say, there's a drone which can take an aerial imagery, right, and understand what is the condition of the crop and can do precision farming. This is a very social example for AI. That is where AI is transforming the social sectors, farming, agriculture, and we have seen all of these in the previous slide. Some of them which you would see here are reinforcement learning, in fact, and that is another burgeoning area of research now these days, moving beyond gaming and trying to see how we can use them for algorithmic trading, finance use cases, how to maximize the reward. Let's say in apps wherein a driver would want to maximize its profit for the day, right? A cab driver. So there are reinforcement learning based systems which are at play behind the scenes, which is helping to maximize the reward for a driver. Because the pickup, drop, and the efficiency around that is all reinforcement learning without the driver having to spend a whole lot, and also efficiently pick up the next ride, right? Both on the driver side as well as on the customer side, right? Customer gets a self-service app, can book the cab, right? So it is benefiting, AI is benefiting the customer experience. It is enabling the middle office. It is enabling the back office greatly. Hyper automation, the whole hype around it, hype versus reality. Yes, it is an amalgamation of many technologies. In fact, some of the companies would have moved beyond, the low-hanging fruits and are now trying to mature in their automation and going beyond. And these are some of the issues which organizations face and see. I talked about lack of process variations, which is captured by process mining, right? You have a digital twin of the process. Human judgment-based tasks. We talked about unstructured, semi-structured data coming in various formats, diverse experience across various channels, manual validation. Now, hyper-automation, the whole ideology and approach itself emphasizes, what is it that you can automate to the extent possible in an efficient way. It also helps you to understand and realize the value for your investment, right? The automation investment. And also, it is not a one-time investment. Any automation you set up, it has to be able to course correct. It has to be able to guide you as a guiding North Star. To see, whether at any given point of time now your automations are up to the mark, or they're not helping you realize the investments that you should, and you need to move, your focus elsewhere, or turn on or turn off something. So they also help you see how your KPIs are performing, right? So it's about automating the automations, as they say, right? So it has all of it into one, right? The entire process mining, like I said, it's an ideology. Don't think about an hyper. There are many hyper automation platforms available in the market. I don't want to name any, but this is the underlying philosophy, right? Some call it hyper automation. There are various terms floating in the market. Some research analysts call it hyper automation. Others call it intelligent automation. Yeah. So just to see, what are the use cases, what are the capabilities within AI, which are then bubbling up into all those use cases in the industry, right? So I've just tried to keep it very crisp. So when we talk about machine learning, we're talking about predictive analytics, statistical machine learning models, and then going beyond into deep learning, right? You need more data to be able to understand the context. Natural language processing, yes, it's a very big area. We talk about neural machine translation, classification, clustering, information extraction, speech to text, text to speech. When it comes to speech, the understanding of voice, expert systems. And then there's a lot of industrial robotics as well, wherein there is reinforcement learning also used. Then there is vision, image recognition, right? Ability to understand the images as a human would. Not only images, but videos as well, right? Videos are nothing but images, the frames stacked together, right? So anywhere we see, we talk about AI and its use cases, these are the ones which would be, leveraged. So the gross impact of AI, as a research puts it, definitely there is a revenue increase that we're looking at, right? With AI-enabled revenue from innovative services. Then what is the AI impact on existing revenues? Process automation, cost reduction. You're trying to. I took an example of a contract intelligence process, right? So what you were able to do with 10 paralegals, now maybe you're able to do with 3 paralegals, right? So there is a cost reduction, there is an efficiency increase, there is an augmentation of capabilities. There is quality improvement as well. Up until now, what used to be like a very sample-based approach. In fact, let's say some audits are happening, right, on a call center call records. That is very audit based, right? What is the customer sentiment? Now with AI, the trend is that what are the call records? How can they be transcribed, right, to text? How the sentiment can be derived from the text, and then see what happened, and then prescribing recommendations for it in future. So that there is a quality improvement because there is 100% AI based auditable systems now. There's quality improvement in work because definitely it is AI augmented, right? And there's a whole lot of talk about explainable AI these days, which is again an area of research, growing research. So there's definitely quality improvement. And then of course we have to see what are the downsides of it, and the investment losses, right? And then you compute the gross impact of AI. So that's how you kind of look at how to calculate, how to measure the impact of AI. So these are some of the KPIs. And AI has the potential to influence all marketing functions, all enterprise functions, right? From marketing and sales, supply chain and production, finance, operations, risk management, HR, product development, IT and advertising. It is everywhere. And there was this study done for about 46 use cases in 40 plus industries by an agency, and this is where this is just including but not limited to where AI can have a big role to play. Of course, along with RPA and allied technologies. Some use cases. I'll quickly cover this. I talked about call center transformation, right? So the machine learning now, so the ability that we want to endow in the systems is that there are call records, right? There are thousands and even lakhs of them. Now, who is to go and go through each and every call record and understand what happened and give it to a machine? Audio transcribed to text, and then doing some topic modeling, language modeling on top of it, and then understanding that this is what happened in the calls, right? And add on top of it, there are systems which are now being developed, and they continue to get better and better on real-time speech analytics. So there is an advisor, there's a customer service rep sitting on this side, there is an agent sitting on the other side. There is a customer sitting on the other side, and then can advise both the agent as well as the customer, right? So it can in real time, it can understand the speech, transcribe it into text, and then make a recommendation for the next best action. So those kind of systems are also developed so that we don't have to do so much of a post facto kind of a thing. While post facto is also possible, this is more the example that I just gave was a more real time thing, which can help you take a decision then and there, ensuring great customer satisfaction. So this directly has an effect on the CSAT, net promoter score of the companies. These kind of capabilities. Now these days there are also video summarization. We want the computer vision models to be able to go through the videos and understand what is happening, right? And if this is objectionable content, let's say, where there are teams sitting, so many teams sitting just to see and monitor whether there is any objectionable content on the site. Well, that's a very manual intensive process. Give it to machine, and it will understand the language as well as the image, the video, the audio, and help quarantine that content and auto detect that, right? Yes, of course, this using AI in real time to generate next best actions and customer purchase patterns, right? So this is a case study of a global bank which seeks to increase its customer engagement by creating a personalized and contextual omni-channel banking experience, right? Now, here's where AI/ML has a great role to play. One is it can help predict what are the customer purchase patterns, increase product targeting, right? Detect travel patterns, and then target the customers for the products they would, for the cards that they would want to buy, right? For the products that they would want to buy at that point in time. I talked about hyper personalization, micro movements. It ties back to that. And again, this is actually touching one aspect of AI, whether it is efficiency, or it is revenue, or it is risk, right? So these are tied to efficiency. This is tied to revenue. So when you're improving a churn risk estimation by it is just number 16% to identify at-risk customers. Now, it can be in a telecom scenario, an insurance scenario, anywhere there is a B2C relationship. There is a customer churn prediction, right? And then a proactive outreach to them, right? And then lowering, had it not been there versus if it is there, then the industry has seen the benefits. Predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics again ties back to that. Of course.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Anjum. You can wrap up your PPT in
Yes,
in
I
10
will.
minutes.
I will take about 3 minutes to wrap it. And
okay, sure.
No problem. Thank you. So what are the priorities of the intelligent enterprise, right? So today we talk about empowering employees. We also envisage a bot for every employee, right? And then customer experience, and we talked about it, quality, efficiency, cost, all of it. So the new equation, weak human plus machine plus superior process, is greater than human plus faster machine plus inferior processes, right? So yeah, and this is a little deep, so just give it a thought. Yeah. So yes, so I think I've talked about it. I'll just take 2 minutes to discuss a few use cases which will enlighten you, and I'll just wrap it up very quickly. We talked about next best action, customer experience. All that ties back to customer retention. There are chatbots now, which and this is a great example which came across when I was doing some research. So chatbot these days are getting better and better. It started from guided navigation to AI-enabled chatbots, and then we want to have more empathetic chatbots. In patient care also they are talking about that. Empathetic chatbots, which understands the emotions, the facial recognition, and then chatbots which can help complete the transaction. Now, if you look at this complete journey, customer journey, a customer would want to buy a product, right? And then starts engaging with the chatbot. says that, I don't want this gown. I want a gown with a red bow, right? Now the machine has to be able to understand that the language as well as what is there in the photo, in the picture, and then go and check in the database, understanding the visual and the linguistic, having a visual linguistic understanding, and then getting the content, not metadata based, but having a semantic understanding from drawing from the vision and the feature spaces, right? So visual question answering. And now once the product comes back, or if it is available, comes back as a picture, and then person says that I want to buy this, and then going through and completing that transaction and getting the payment done. And this is where it is headed, right? So there's no live agent interaction. There is computer vision. There is visual question answering. There is visual common sense reasoning. And then this is a system wherein this is an interplay of RPA, because there is a system at the back end which is making sure that the payment is done right, making those entries. AI, right, and a truly AI based system. So this is one case in point I wanted to discuss. Another one more before I wrap up was around neural machine translation, right? Wherein now the emphasis is on handling multiple languages in domain. Maybe there may be German, French, Spanish. How about doing it through a low-cost destination with an English language speaking resource who is having the ability to understand that content? Now and maybe a German language speaking resource would cost you dearly. But then again, if you're trying to derive those benefits and having a neural machine translation based system, and it's getting better and better. There's Google Translation as well. It's getting better and better. So you can think of handling it by an English language resource who can leverage that system, a neural machine translation based system, and do it from a low cost destination to get the cost benefits, right? So that is a great case in point, right? And now as we move forward, where the future is headed is, yes, AI has the understanding. You can do a lot of statistical ML modeling, deep learning, but it is about now causal models, right? So what is the cause? Why the decision was taken? Explainable AI, right? So there is a whole lot of research around causal modeling now. What is the cause of this thing that happened? It's not like there is a pan which fell and there is a there is a pencil which fell and there is a bell that rang on the door and the food got cooked. Well, there may be a different reason for food getting cooked, right? So it is going beyond that, and it is more into the causal side of it, true AI-based system, explainable AI, how to use reinforcement learning along with statistical deep learning-based models to create better systems, decision support systems, and I think the list goes on. But this is what I had to cover today, and thank you all for joining in and giving me the patient hearing on this, and happy to take any questions if time permits.
Yes, if you have any questions, you may ask, and after that we'll take a break, or just a quick break.
Well, if not, then I'm always available on LinkedIn go by Anjum Javed, and this is my email ID, and definitely you can connect with me offline, and if there are any questions, you can get it answered there.
Yeah, thank you, Anjum. Yeah. That was a wonderful session, and thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So now we will take a quick break. So before returning at 4 p.m. with our next speaker, Dharamjit Sarangi, he is the Director of Global Technology, Operations and Service Delivery from Image Asia. So we'll take just a quick break. We'll be back. Thank you.